Welcome to episode 71 of the Be Life podcast. My name is Josh. I am joined by my friend and co-host Joe. And lastly, but certainly not least, we are joined by our producer Zach. We have a good time here. We've been doing this for 70 episodes. This is 71. It's been going a while.
It's unbelievable.
It's been like over a year.
I know.
Some of our listeners have been faithfully joining us like almost every week for over a year. We just want to say thank you. I just want to take a minute and say thanks. If you are a committed listener, a committed watcher, thank you for being here. If this is your first time checking us out, also, thank you for being here. If you're watching us on YouTube, we would love for you to smash that like button, leave a comment, do all those sorts of things. If you're listening on a podcast platform, if you could give us a follow, give us a rating and review, a comment, any of those interactions are always a free and a very helpful way to support the mission of our podcast and of our church. We want to reach out with these honest conversations.
Is this is smash?
Yeah.
Is that a real technical term?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's a tongue-in-cheek YouTube jargon.
But they do use that.
Yeah, everyone says smash the like button, and it's like everyone's like, yeah, it's a little cringy to say, but we're just gonna embrace it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we did.
And I think when I say hit the like button or smash the like button, that if a person's watching on YouTube, they'll get a little red pew that surrounds the like button. YouTube shows them where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do it.
Do it.
Smash it. Hit it. Push it. Click it. Whatever.
That's the bop it.
You know, I told you I'm low on carbs today, so I'm like energy challenged. I'm sitting here going, it's just like low blood sugar or something.
I hope that my large coffee and I can make up for it.
Yeah, I hope you can too, because I'm ready. I'm ready.
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. I thought you've got a video. We want to look at that. We're going to do that. I also have some news around the world and things, just to kind of, one's about a Hyundai plant, which is, I have a Hyundai electric car.
All right.
And I'm wondering, am I going to be able to get the batteries for it in the future? If I need batteries. The other thing is, I started looking at the trends of the churches, Christian church, and how they've gone, just kind of tanked in the West.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to go up. And one group is taking us almost into a revival.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that today a little bit.
All right, we're gonna have some criticism, a touch of hope. We'll probably make some jokes there.
Yeah,
it'll be a wild ride. But yeah, like you were saying, I did see a really great video come across my TikTok feed this week, and I feel bad because I had some thoughts and I left a comment and I was very bothered by it. But I feel bad because the video is like it didn't even really go viral, right? We got 1,300 likes on this video, so it's not like some mega trending thing. But I was really like bothered by this.
Really?
And so I thought it would be a good thing for us to watch and react to here on the episode.
Super excited. Our website is officially live, drinkyahweh.com. We have our Tropical Paradise in a 12-pack, our Berry Blessed in a 12-pack, or if you would like both, we do have a variety case. Shipping to all 50 states. Super excited for you guys to try them, pass them out, friends, family, neighbors. Thanks for sharing the good news with us, one can at a time.
Did you catch what she said in there?
Yeah. I just saw the cans.
Yeah, it's like a perfectly normal, influencer ad where she's just like, here's this product, I really like it, here's a couple of varieties, you can order it. And there was no explanation of like I got really triggered by the name, right? So I'm like, whoa, hold on, why are you bearing the name of the Lord?
And the picture.
The picture is literally like, I don't know, it's like you went to AI and said, hey, can you show me what Zac Efron would look like as Jesus?
That's so true.
Like it's really weird. And yeah, and so when I left my comment, I clearly was just joining the whole group. Everyone was very critical in the same way. They're like, yeah, this feels super icky. This feels gross. They just named this energy drink Yahweh. It's not like Jesus juice or something that might be like cringy,
That'd be even
but also
worse.
But Yahweh is like the holy name. That is the sacred name of God. And
Want to watch another one?
yeah. The pinned video gives a little bit of explanation.
All right, good. Oh, no.
Yeah. So Tropical Paradise, Berry Blessed.
Yeah, but the music is already getting me. It's like sacred music.
Yeah. And then they throw verses up there.
That does look like Zac Efron.
And I think this is really telling that it is literally, there's no explanation here about
Just Bible
what the
verses.
goal is. It's a Bible verse. And it's this proof text mentality that is way too common in the church today of just like, oh, I have a Bible verse that backs up what I'm doing or what I'm saying or what my message is. Therefore, I don't have to put any real thought into whether or not it's a good idea, an ethical idea, a helpful idea. I got a Bible verse.
And then they have like Berry Blessed. What's that one?
Tropical Paradise. This day will be with me in tropical paradise. That should have been the verse that they used.
Oh, my goodness.
Go ahead and go back to their page, Zach. And there's a video where she's talking with the like co-creator, the fourth video over. Yeah, that one there. And this explains a little bit about what their goals are with the product.
Yeah, so our biggest one that we started this was to sponsor athletes. That's the reason why we started it, so that athletes don't have to choose between wearing the name of God or a cross or whatever it may be and competing. That is why we started it. That's still our goal in being able to accomplish that. But
That makes no
we
sense.
are excited because at the moment we're partnering up with our local churches, and some of the proceeds will be going to help fund and support mission trips, those who are actually on the field and out there preaching the gospel.
Using the funds
over
to
the world.
support missions
As we
is
grow
like,
and get
okay, that's
bigger
cool.
and
That's not
expand
abnormal.
and more funds come in, we have a lot of goals and a lot of dreams on who we can help. The Bible talks about that we need to help the widows and the orphans. And so we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of organizations already in mind that we want to help support and have the proceeds go.
All right, you can go ahead and pause it there. Right now, it's purely theoretical what they're going to do with these funds. Yeah, we have a lot of thoughts about who we might help, right? So it's not a very clear business goal. The thing they are very clear about is like the consumerism aspect, not the like, hey, we're going to use these funds as a ministry, but they're very clear about the goal of making money and selling a product. And she said there that they don't want athletes to have to choose between speaking in favor of a sponsor and speaking in favor of Jesus. And so now their sponsored product is the name of God.
Yeah. It's a scam.
It feels so
You
weird.
know, you could be a Christian company and name your energy drink Wham
Yeah,
and still give the money away.
absolutely.
This is blatant. I mean, you're using God as your influencer, your person on the can. Oh, we got to buy this.
Yeah, you think Tony the Tiger was good? We got God. That's
Oh, my
pretty much what it is.
goodness.
I know. And so I felt bad, right? Because they're not like millions of views. Like they look like they're just starting out. But I was so fundamentally bothered by this. I was like, we need to talk about it. I think this is what happens when we let like our consumerism mindset, our late stage capitalism, like influence our decisions, and our faith is interpreted in light of secular capitalism. And it's like, hey, how can I, like the goal in life is to sell a product and make money, but I also love God. Okay, so the product I'm going to sell is God.
See, I look at it the other way. I look at it that they're not really concerned about their walk with Christ. They just saw an idea that, oh, we'll get these Christians. Christians they flock to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
When anybody boycotts Chick-fil-A, Christians will rally. Well, Christians will rally to this, they'll rally to that. Let's give them an energy drink.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think it's a very saturated market, right? If you want to be a Christian musician, there's a lot of Christian musicians, but I don't know any other
every
Christian
time
energy
I think
drink.
of that, I think of South Park and that whole Christian episode anyway. But I don't want to get into that because I used to believe, and I think it's changed. But when Christian music first became like, started getting on radio stations and stuff, and there was Christian rock when it first started, I really thought I would listen to music and I would go, that just sounds like a secular song.
Mhm.
All they did was change the words. And I remember watching, I've told you this, and you probably saw it, but a South Park episode where Cartman wanted to be a rock star. And people are going to be upset that I watched South Park, but I don't care. It was funny. He wanted to be a rock star, and he kept trying. He couldn't get a record.
Yeah.
So he went in, and he took a Black Sabbath song and went through, and every time he had devil, he put God, and he crossed it out.
Yeah.
He did the exact same song in God, and he became this huge Christian artist.
That's okay.
And he was packing the place, 10,000 people.
I've watched 2 South Park episodes in my life.
That was probably-
I've never been a fan, but like when you said South Park, I'm like, okay, I know that they always have like a commentary on what's going on and politics and life and culture. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel. Like if you can't make it in real music,
Yes.
just label yourself as a Christian artist, and then you only have to be half as good.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're looking at it and going, oh, if we put, how are we going to compete in the energy drink market?
Yeah.
Well, let's go after Christians.
And so now you think this justification is like retroactive, and that's why it's so half-baked?
Yes. Yes.
That's fair.
That they're coming out and they're putting this on. Now they're coming up with, we're going to give the money here. We're thinking of giving
we're
the money.
thinking of giving it here.
We're thinking of giving it here, giving here. And we're going to get athletes to come on national TV and endorse it, because now they don't have to endorse a generic energy drink rather than, so Kurt Warner could do it.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner can now do this. Well, Kurt Warner doesn't care.
Or they could just genuinely like be spokespeople for their faith. There's plenty of athletes that do that.
Yes, Kurt Warner does that. So this thing.
So you're feeling about how I felt.
It's a mess, and they're just sitting here. People do that all the they instead of bringing the world into Christianity, now they're taking Christianity and trying to fit it into the world, which is. I said that wrong, but what I meant was you try and make it worldly, and put it in a worldly market, to try and get Christians to bite on it.
Yeah, the good news isn't a product to be sold. It's not a it's not a brand that you can have allegiance to. Like it's a new way of viewing the world. It's a full philosophical and theological surrender of who you are and how you act in the world. It's so much bigger than just wearing a cross necklace or drinking coffee at this coffee shop because it's a Christian coffee shop.
Right.
The thing that really my last thought on this that really gets to me is when the product is always like low quality. There was a time when the Christian artists were sculpting, painting the most beautiful things in the world. Yes. They were doing things with excellence, and they had their faith. And a lot of times, because of their faith, they were motivated to put all that they had into it. That's,
Michelangelo. Exactly.
And this is one of the tenets of the culture we're trying to foster here at Be Life Church, Canton Nazarene Church. Is that right there, like a culture of striving for excellence. Whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. Rather than, hey, we could make really high quality coffee drinks, or we could make them half as good, save some money, but slap the name of Jesus on it, and then we're justified.
Yes.
Like if you are going to represent God and claim to be a Christian product or a Christian artist, like you need to be doing things better than the world. You need to be doing it with full excellence. That's my hot take.
Thus, what I was saying about the Christian rock music stuff. When the other one that hit me when it comes down to music is when Christian music started doing heavy metal. And it was real heavy, and it was like guys sitting there going like this with their hair coming forward and back and all that stuff. And it's like, you're screaming and you're doing heavy metal music, but you put different words in. How do you feel? I thought that was terrible.
If
I'm old though.
That's fair. That's fair. Like, I cannot stand the minute someone comes in, do a song like this, I'm like, done. Turn it off. Like, I can't stand.
You don't like
country. I can't stand like scream. Like, I like heavy rock. I can't stand screaming. Where they do like the monster voice, like, oh no no no, yeah, like,
but they do that with Christian. There's some Christian bands that do that.
So like those are my two genres that I'm just like, if that comes on, I just change the station or whatever.
Right.
If someone is very passionate about rap or rock or whatever kind of music, and they want to have a clean, a wholesome version of that, a Christian version of that, that's cool. If you want to make money from it, if you want to have fame and you want to have wealth, and you say, ooh, now I can do it as a Christian influencer, as a Christian artist, then I can be a Christian celebrity and it's okay for me to have fame and wealth because I'm a Christian. That's super problematic for me. So if it's just like, that's your flavor, but you're also a Christian, so you want it to be clean, that's cool. The minute like people start making money off of it and gaining clout, then I become skeptical.
So can there be Christian mosh pits?
Oh yeah, I mean,
well, you just don't hit as hard.
go to Camp Kid Jam.
They have mosh pits.
I mean, no one's like breaking bones, but there are kids like waving pool noodles above their head and like doing full blown dance move, and they're pressing together and jumping in sync to the songs and like.
Well, I could see that, but mosh pits are different.
Yeah,
you're actually trying to knock people.
I mean, real
down.
mosh pits where you're just trying to be as aggressive as possible and like actually getting hurt. Like no, not to that extent.
No. Okay, I just wondered. I don't know, because I'm blown away by any time that we take Christianity and try and adapt it.
Take the Lord's name in vain.
Amen. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And that's what they're doing with this. This is ridiculous. And he did look like Zac Efron with a beard.
All right, Zach, thanks for bringing that video up to us. But Joe, you were saying that you had, this week you had texted me and you're like, hey, maybe we should talk about something light, or maybe we should like.
I wish we had
maybe we should talk about anger and frustration, or we should talk about these tragic current events. And I'm like, all right, Joe, whatever you're feeling, man.
I don't want to do that. If we do it, I don't want to do it like that.
Yeah.
Like anger and, I looked at, all right, I was going through anger and sin and stuff, but I'm not going to get really deep into this. But anger and fear is what I meant.
Yeah.
Anger and fear, you look at those, and we look at those as Christians a lot of times as sinful. And they really aren't. We have to look at anger and sin as neutral. They can be good, they can be bad.
Anger and fear.
Anger and fear, I'm sorry. Anger and fear. Anytime I keep saying sin, correct me.
All right.
It'll stop, I think. Fear. So you take those two, and they're neutral. Jesus was angry when obviously there had to be some passion and anger when he cleared the temple and took a whip and started getting everybody out and turning tables over. You don't do that just, well, I'm happy. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the most famous one, but I feel like he gets mouthy with the Pharisees a lot.
He does. And he talks about his anger. There's certain verses that even says, he is angry about things. God, we hear all about God's wrath over and over and over. God's wrath it will be shown. God's wrath was shown. All this. I mean, he flooded the whole world and saved 8 people. So I look at those and I look at fear. Fear is, a lot of times as Christians, we look at fear and say, we shouldn't be fearful. We should trust God. But fear is a good thing. If I walk under a tree and I fear there's something going to fall, that's good. If I'm, fear leads us into stopping to do things that would hurt us.
Yeah. Yeah. Proverbs says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Amen. So I look at those, and then you look at when they become sinful. And I was thinking of this because I was thinking of me, and I was plugging this into what I was going through, where I was angry about certain things. And I allowed myself to get angry, and I started looking at the anger, and I started looking I started reading Proverbs, and it was about being slow to anger. God is slow to anger. We are called to be slow to anger, because when you're slow to anger, and I'm just throwing this out, when you're slow to anger, it's a surgical strike where I'm hitting you at a behavior. Whereas where I was an explosive anger.
Yeah.
Where I wanted to nuke everything and blow. So I would just set off a nuclear bomb. It'd blow off everything. It'd take care of the behavior plus the people and any other people that were standing around.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a sin. And fear, irrational fear, is a sin also. But fear is good. So I just started looking at those things and, what appears to be a sin, what isn't a sin, because we look at that. I think there's a lot of people who look at Christianity, and even us as a church sometimes, we want to be too sterile.
Yeah.
Or we become too sterile. We don't want to become too sterile, but we are too sterile because what we're trying to be is perfect in the eyes of our fellow brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot easier to feel like you're doing what's right, and feel like you're striving for Christ-likeness when things are calm and simple and quiet. And you don't have to worry about the nuance between, is this justified righteous anger, or is this out of control, self-consuming anger? Well, if you just never get angry, then you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm. But we all get angry.
That's true.
And so when you say you never get angry, this is a point I'm trying to make, is that a lot of people that in our church nowadays, if you walk into churches, I think ours is different. I really do. But I'm biased. And maybe people who walk in don't see that. But you walk into churches and you could sit there amongst all the people and they all look perfect. Nobody has any emotion. They're all joyful. They're worshiping. You come out, they all look I've had this experience where I've gone to churches and just like everybody's perfect. I don't know if I fit here.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone in their Sunday best.
Yeah, but everybody on their best behavior. Nobody cracks a joke. Nobody does anything. It's like...
how do you know if a joke's going to be appropriate or not? If you just don't joke, then you just don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
How do you know if your outburst of emotion is a distraction or an encouragement to the person around you? Well, if you just keep it inside, you don't have to worry about that.
And everybody wants to be perfect.
Yeah.
And so I was looking, and that drove me into this. There was a study done in 2025, just a few months ago. It actually came out in July. And it said, the General Social Survey, this is a survey that was put out by the Council of Churches. Since 1972, shows a gradual but unmistakable increase in Americans who identify as non-religious. They call them nones, nuns.
Nuns. Yeah, which
I had
which
to
is
say
always
nones because nuns would be.
That's the thing. It's hard because it's a homophone with Catholic nuns, but it's not that.
It's nuns. These are nuns that don't have any religion,
and it's not even like identifying with atheism. It's just like nothing.
Yes. So they said throughout 30 years, the number of nuns, not nuns, the number of nuns has increased to almost 30%. From back in the 1980s, it was 5% and 6%.
Yeah.
Now it's gone to 30%. That people are 18 to 35, especially, has declined significantly.
Yeah.
And I thought the reason for that is that they're looking for a relationship. They're looking for answers. They're not looking for perfection.
Oh, yeah.
And for so long, our churches have been a place where, you step into our church, you better be complying with who we are and how we're acting.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a great debate over the last century of, orthodoxy versus orthopraxy. Is it right practice or is it right belief that's more important? And you have a generation coming up that says, hey, what if it's okay to just not get it right? And they want that journey of spiritualism. They want relationships in their life, and they're concerned about generalized spiritual health and having relationship with community, and that's what they care about. And so the formal behaviors and the formal beliefs, they're not going to identify with it. And that's why you get this non-identification. I don't think those people believe they are beyond a spiritual, component of their being. They'll believe in either an afterlife or spiritual health now, or things that are good vibes or things like that. They just don't have the formal language and the formal structure of churches and denominations to help them explore those, tease out those ideas and work through them.
Yeah. And here's the other part, though. Here's where it goes. This kind of blew me away, because this is the same study in the same articles that I was reading.
Who's the study from?
This study. This is actually from New York Times. It was written in there, but it came from the Council of Churches. It was a survey they all put out.
Oh, okay.
And so what they came up with now is that Gen Z, your generation, I think you're Gen Z.
Barely.
Are you in the...
I'm the absolute highest Gen Z or the absolute youngest millennial, depending on how you count it.
Well, the Gen Zers, put yourself in that category. Gen Zers are attending church unlike anything in American religious history. The increase of Gen Zers, and this is mostly men, more men than women, but there's a dynamic playing out that men are staying in the church, women are still leaving, but men are coming in. But there is a deeper spiritual, teens are interested and motivated to learn about Jesus. And people are starting to say, the New York Times is even reporting, that there's maybe a revival going on. But it's a real revival. It's not a revival of denomination or necessarily church attendance, but a revival in the young people wanting to know who Jesus Christ is and wanting a relationship with him. Do you find that interesting?
Yeah. This makes me feel like I'm just an unhealthy skeptic. My first thought is, that sounds great. I would love for there to be a revival among the youngest adult generation. Will the older adult generations accept it? Because it will inevitably look different than their faith. It will look different than how they do church. It will look different than how they approach the Bible. It will look different than their relationship with God, because it's a new generation, and every generation, the culture changes, and the way you express your faith is different.
Do you remember the Jesus movement of the 60s and 70s? You don't remember it, but
no, there's a movie that came out recently, Jesus Revolution. Yeah. No, I've read bits and pieces about it.
Yeah, and it was people just coming into churches barefoot, doing things like that. It started out on the West Coast, but it just went.
Yeah.
and exploded. And it was people actually coming into wanting a relationship with Jesus Christ. We have seen this back in that time.
Yeah.
They were called Jesus freaks.
Yeah.
And so people were doing that, and now we're getting it. I think we're getting that same thing again among the Gen Zers. I think maybe because they're disillusioned. There's so many things going on in the world right now. There's so many problems going on, so many things that they're looking for something that they can anchor to. COVID just came through, all this stuff that are going on. African American churches are exploding right now, which there was a decline at one time, but they're the fastest growing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to make of it, Josh, and I don't know where I'm going with this whole thing, but I just found it interesting that people are leaving the church, likely because it's not relevant to a certain extent to them, that it's not vulnerable enough, real enough, authentic enough. But the young people are finding their way into it, at least trying to look for Jesus Christ. So as a church, I guess I was looking at it from our church standpoint. I think we're very much about a relationship with Jesus Christ. And again, we should be there. I think if young people come into our place, which they have, they see that. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just think like in order for us to be part of this, to be there for them, we have to be a church that isn't stuck and isn't trying to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking general church, not just our church.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I think our church is.
Yeah. It's hard when you get a report like this that's at a national level to interpret the data or to give an explanation that is all encompassing. Like, it's always going to fall short because everyone that's coming to church is doing it for varied reasons, right? People have different motivations. People have different past experiences with the church. I have been very surprised to see a lot of young people, mostly men here at our church, that it'll be like a 22-year-old guy will come in here by himself on a Sunday morning, participate, seems to enjoy himself. I'll say, hey, he'll maybe come back once or twice, and then he might go on. I might not see him again.
Right.
But the fact that a single young person thought, man, I think I want church to be a part of my formation, my identity, my routine, my weekly routine, just the fact that they're considering it and that they're doing it not because their friends are coming, but just as an individual.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. So whether they end up here or another church in our area, like my hope and my prayer for them is that they find God, they find a church home, and they can plug in and grow in their relationships with their church community. I want what's best for them, whether it's here or otherwise. But like, that is a bold move that they are coming by themselves because they've decided this is a good thing that they want to include in their life.
I find it funny that you mentioned that about the men and the women, because that was the big thing that they were saying, is that men are the ones that are coming. The men are staying in church while the women are leaving at a remarkable clip.
Yeah.
And men are coming back. Increased spiritual hunger among younger generations. The majority of Gen Z teens are interested and motivated to learn more about Jesus. This article and study came out. But it's mostly, and here's the other part, many of these new Christians come from secular, unchurched backgrounds, suggesting a rising spiritual hunger that transcends traditional church boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which I find really interesting.
If they don't have personal experience having grown up in church, my first thought would be like, especially if well, I guess it's there's now a rise in the like, especially in like the Latin mass, there's been like a rise in the popularity of Catholicism. But I think about like the word evangelical has become less of a theological, a doctrinal distinctive and more of a political distinctive in the last 10 years in America. And so I would assume, my assumption would be, and it could definitely be wrong for every person, but that their association with church being a good thing is because of like political alignment rather than political or cultural alignment rather than spiritual alignment. So rather than, hey, I remember coming to kids church when I was little. And I hear this a lot from younger families. It's like, yeah, I grew up in kids church. My mom brought me, or my grandma brought me. It was really formative. I went to youth group. When I became an adult, I left church. I just had a kid. I want to start coming back to church, and I want my kid to be in church. That happens so often. It's like, I had this solid memory. I know it was formative to who I am. And so I want that for my family. Awesome. I love that for you. But if you don't have that background, what would prompt you to, like, why would you think that church is a good thing? If you haven't been to church, if you haven't been a part of it, why would you think it's good? Someone's telling you it's an important part of your identity or your weekly pattern or whatever, that it's good for you.
I don't think, I'm looking at I'm judging from I can only judge from my perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't want to be in the church. I just had no desire to be part of a church. Kirby did, not me. So when I was saved, I was just in a relationship with Jesus, and I was just learning on my own, and I was just studying the Bible, and I was just listening to sermons online and things.
But you came to Jesus before you came to church.
Yes.
Okay.
But I still had no desire to be in a church.
Yeah.
Because my feeling of church was
not the life-giving that you felt with your relationship with Jesus?
Not at all. I thought it was going to take me away from that. I was going to be involved in hypocrites, that everybody was perfect, that it wasn't very fun. And then the only reason I came to this church is because Pastor Dan asked me to come and speak about my trip to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now, I went to Ukraine. I wasn't involved in the church. That was just my praying and being with the Lord.
Yeah.
So I was being nurtured by God and by the Holy Spirit. But we came to this church, and we both rode home that day, and we both looked at each other and said, that's home.
Yeah.
So I don't think these people, I think they're like me, especially if they're unchurched, because you could say I grew up in the Catholic faith, but I was unchurched. We went on Sundays. We didn't open a Bible. You know, it wasn't a relationship with Jesus Christ. It was a bunch of do's and don'ts in my life.
Yeah.
And I even went to a Catholic high school, all the way through.
Yeah.
But I was unchurched. And so it took stumbling into this church. If I hadn't done that, I doubt we'd be in a church still.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
So I don't know if these people are the same way. We have to count them as hope that they stumble into our church or a church and find it like I did.
Yeah.
Find it welcoming, find the people real, feel the love.
I found that one of the most important qualities for a church to live out is the fruit of the Spirit, long suffering. That the church meets every week, that we have a liturgy, that we have a rhythm, that we celebrate the holidays, that we have the annual traditions, that we do those things and we are consistent with those and we are faithful with those, because I found that people can go through a lot of, people can go through life and it can feel like the waters of the ocean, like it can feel unstable. It can feel always changing and moving and a lot. And I feel like there's a sense of stability found in very few things nowadays. And we as the church can be that. We can be that island of stability in the midst of the ever changing waters. And so I think for people who might be going through changes in their own life, and perhaps they've developed a relationship with Jesus and they're not sure if church is for them, or perhaps they've had a relationship with Jesus for years and they've just been far away from church, or they had a bad church experience. I think it's so important for us to be faithful, to be continuous, to be always challenging ourselves to do things with excellence, refine what we do and make it better, and just be consistent. That way, when Sunday comes and that person finally feels bold enough to go check out a church, that we are here doing things well, that we are praising God, that we make space for them and are welcoming to them. And that if we are prepared for that every single week, that once in a while when that person comes in that's ready, hey, we will already be in routine and we'll be able to be there for them.
Yes. And it was funny, there was another part of this study I didn't include it, but it was that these young people, these Gen Zers, are more liturgical than you think. The Jesus freaks of the 60s and 70s were like, tear it all down. We just want to worship the Lord.
Yeah.
The Gen Zers that are coming in now want some kind of foundation.
And I think this is one of the things we talked about last week about how culture today is making this pendulum swing back. We've gotten to a point where there's no expectations for people. The cultural script has been stripped away, that there isn't that stability in institutions that are bigger than an individual, and people are craving it. And so we're making that pendulum swing back. And this might be a part of it, where someone is craving that institution, that stability. And a church is going to provide that, and a liturgical church, a high church tradition, even more so, is going to provide that stability.
Yeah, and there's a fine line, as far as I'm concerned, as from, again, coming from a very liturgical way. I mean, I grew up, it was Latin.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this. I didn't even know what they were saying.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody cared.
I'm certain that if you went to one of the Catholic churches here in our city, like for
It
a
would be
mass,
different.
it would be very different than what you grew up with.
I know. I agree with that. But I'm not putting it down by saying
Sure.
that. I'm saying that's just what I grew up in.
That's my.
But I think there's a fine line between spontaneity and total liturgy, where you're just sitting, opening up a book, and the priest says things or the pastor says things, and then you read the response.
Yeah.
To me, that becomes cold.
I think that the best metaphor is the relationships that we have with the people around us. So I always default back to like my relationship with my wife, and I need, if I just get too routine, we never have the spontaneous fun trip or date night. If I get too spontaneous, then there's not the consistent things we can rely on. So every night I'm not going to go to bed without kissing her goodnight.
Right.
And I'm always going to try and once in a while surprise her with something fun. And it's that combination of the two that leads to a healthy relationship. And I feel like with our relationship and the church's relationship with God, it's the same sort of thing.
Yes. And that's the kind of mix I think we feel. I don't know if there's an answer to this as far as we're coming to a conclusion with, this is what we meant by this. But I think, my whole point was, when I was looking at this and talking about this, is who we are, the foundations that we have that you're talking about, plus the love, the vulnerability, that come with, and the vibe that you just walked into a place that isn't perfect.
Yeah.
That may sound like just a throw in, but I think that's very important. That somebody walks in, I think that's what we felt when we walked in, is that this place wasn't, I'm not saying, okay, I'm going to this place is not perfect. Well, no, I didn't mean it I don't mean it like that, but people were real people.
Authentic.
Yeah, authentic. Thank you. And that's a big difference. That's what I think people are young people are going to be looking for.
Yeah.
I think part of that is with the new name.
Yeah.
And I know a name is a name, and it's got to have a background behind it and all that, but I think we do. But the name Be Life at least brings those people in to say, wow, because that is what people are looking for. They're looking for life. They're looking to be life. They're looking to be with a group of people who are living, who are alive. And that, if that gets them in more, if it brings more of Kirby and I in that are just, we don't really are looking for, we're not looking for a church, but we feel drawn to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come in and you meet the people and you find out the church, and then you're drawn to it, and you walk and you go home the same way we did, saying, that's home.
Yeah. Yeah. And a cool name's not going to make all the difference.
No.
But it's a first impression.
Yeah.
And if you can bring down that barrier, if you can have a first impression that resonates with someone, especially when you're saying that this demographic that's seeking out church comes from an unchurched background, so not using theological terms like Nazarene, but common man language. I think these are like subtle things that I don't know if people would ever realize that they picked to come to this church rather than the one on the other side of town because our name was simple or resonated with them. I don't know if people will identify that, but like on a subconscious level, I think it's definitely there.
Yeah.
I think that it brings down that barrier of the first impression so that they can come in and meet the genuine people here who are amazing. Because that's what it took for me. I drove past this church all the time for 25 years of my life. And then when I finally decided to come in, I was like, oh my gosh, this is here?
Yeah.
Right here. Like, I've driven past this church so many times. I had no idea that it was this kind of community, that it was this style of church, that it was like, I love these people.
Yeah.
And I've been here ever since. And so, yeah, it's about that first impression so they come in here and can fall in love with our community.
Yes. Because it really wasn't, we used to come here and vote all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that didn't do it, and when we first came, we were in the gym.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was beautiful.
Yeah, it wasn't even flashy.
I mean, there was basketball things hanging and stuff, and it was a gym, and so it was the people. It was everything that these people, apparently from this study, are looking for.
Yeah.
A relationship with Christ, a relationship with people who are Christians, the whole thing. Wrapping up, talk about next week a little bit, if you want.
Yeah. So these episodes release on Sundays at 12:30, but we actually record these on Saturday mornings. So sometimes it's fun. We don't know what our Sunday mornings at church are going to look like, but we follow it up. Like we say, here we're not about perfect answers, but honest conversations. And a lot of times we have some follow-up conversations that we talk about Sunday. And I think it's a great resource to have. All that said, next week, we're not recording on Saturday because we are still going to have the episode drop at 12:30 on Sunday, but it's going to be live. So Sunday the 14th, Sunday, September 14th, we are going to be live streaming at 12:30. We're going to be doing that here from our church, from Be Life Church. We're going to have a setup. This is the tentative plan. We're going to be outside in the middle of our block party. We're inviting our community out for a block party. We think it's going to be a great time. We're going to have food and games and inflatables. It's going to be a bunch of fun. But we're also going to have the Be Life podcast live. And so we're going to have a couple different guests stop by, put on the headset and hang out with us for a couple minutes. They'll leave. Someone new will come. I think it'll be a good time. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have some good conversations. So you don't want to miss that. We're going to be live live at 12:30 on Sunday, September 14th. If you're hearing this and you're interested in joining us, Canton Nazarene Church is becoming Be Life Church on that Sunday. We're going to be celebrating our new name, our fresh identity, and we're going to try and reignite that passion, that mission to reach out to our community, to reach out to those who are seeking the church, seeking Jesus, and seeking faith. And we want to be there for them. We want to be life to them. We want to be there for them. We would love for you to join us in person. Our big celebration service is going to be at 11 a.m. Sunday, the 14th at 11 a.m. It's going to be a family worship service. So we're going to have kids and students all in the room with the adults. We're going to have a great worship service with some music. We're going to have some special videos. We'll have a sermon from Pastor Dan, and then we have a live brass band that's going to be leading us out to the parking lot. They're going to be performing for us. DeLand Brass Band. We're excited to have them. Great group of guys from the Cleveland area, really talented musicians. We're looking forward to that. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have some giveaways. We've got get some Be Life t-shirts. We're going to hand those out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Honestly, we would just love for you to be there. And if you can't be there in person, of course, you can tune in live at 12:30 for the Be Life podcast live. That was my sales pitch.
Yeah, and I was thinking while you were saying that, we're not all of a sudden going to become life next Saturday or next Sunday when we go live with this and the new name and the new signs and the whole thing. It's not like we're changing or we're all of a sudden, because the name's changing, we're going to be alive. We have been this. This church has been alive. And all we're doing next week is redefining who we are, just renaming who we are, putting the correct label on who we have been for a long time. And so it's just finding our right identity and naming us correctly, because our church has been alive. The outreach of this church, everything that we have done.
This church community has been in Canton for over 100 years doing ministry with the people of Canton. Several small churches have been planted out of this church. We have some members of our community that are in their 80s who've been coming here their entire life.
90?
Yeah, we have faithful church members. We have good elders. We have fresh people. We have people who've been Nazarenes their whole life, people who never thought they'd go to a Nazarene church and they ended up here. We have people who this is their first church experience and they're a part of our church community. We got a great group of people. We're diverse and we embrace that diversity. Whoever you are, you're welcome here.
And I think it's appropriate that we're going to be celebrating outside of these walls, because so much of what we do is outside of the walls.
Absolutely.
I think we use I like to look at our church, our building, as a charging station, where we come together, we worship the Lord together, we see each other, we hug each other, we recharge ourselves, we take our classes here, all those things. And then, boom, we take it out into the world, because there's so much. That's what we're called to do. And so that's what our church is all about. So it's kind of appropriate that next week we're out in the parking lot with the community, showing everything instead of being behind walls hiding it. So it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. And you guys have done a fabulous job. I got to say, Josh and Zach and Zach, Josh's brother, and everybody who is really from the technical side. These guys have done a phenomenal job. They have been busy putting this all together, and congratulations to you for all that you guys have done to make this happen.
We'll get to breathe a little easier after the 14th.
Yeah, I bet you will. So I guess that's it for today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button.
Smash it. Just smash it.
Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll get notified every week when we drop a new episode. We always got fun topics we're talking about. Join us next week live. Where can they view us live? Just on YouTube? Is that what we're doing? All right, we're also going to try and stream it from our Facebook page. So if you watch from Facebook, our goal is to stream from YouTube and Facebook. So if you're listening on Podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify, jump on over to YouTube or our Facebook page, Be Life Podcast.
Are we
And
going to
we'll see
have?
you there.
Are we going to have Yahweh energy drinks?
Heck no.
And a
No.
roller coaster.
We will have a roller coaster. We're going to be handing out Yahweh energy drinks. It'll be a wild time. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.